Hello everybody. Brian here from quantlabs.net. Today I'm going to be talking about finally the video you've been all waiting for is the new second version of this trading bot with a lot of huge improvements. Namely, we've got four pieces to it. There's a client-server arrangement. It's been architected for that. There's 5 strategies in one bot. When people sign up for my service, they'll be able to get the client edition. And I'm going to talk about the technology to build this thing. So it's been a long time coming. I believe probably a month out it took, at least that. I haven't been tracking it, but it took a long time. But yeah, we still have Redis as the backbone on the server side. So in here, we've got our crypto risk. These four right here are the weighted average, which is now a very important element of the entire setup for the system here. And right now, that's pretty well the backbone. I'll be doing a webinar on Monday, June 1st, to explain the parameters of it. But between this crypto risk and the weighted average is very important as a metric to get, the last, even all this year, the last 5 months, 6 months, when Bitcoin moves, everything moves, except there's the odd one that will move against Bitcoin. But it seems to be the way the pattern has been for the last 6 months or so. But it's also been in episodes of tight range as well. But it seems to be Bitcoin's on the move. So going back to this, we have the Redis. Here we have now, this is part of the server. So in here, this is my first step into moving a web server. So this is a web server using Flask, and namely Flask REST. This took me a week or so, maybe even 2 weeks, to figure out which is the best technology to deliver messages. I've tried all the different databases, open source, NoSQL. I've tried the queuing, like zero message queuing and Rabbit. And there's a couple of challenges I have which I prefer to use, but I'm kind of technically bound by my web hosting server. I could move on to another web hosting service, but I like where I'm at, so they've been kind of like my ears and experts on what to go with and what not to go with in terms of on the web for sending out messages to the client software that will be downloaded and having it communicate between the server and the client. And what basically it came down to was REST API is the most popular. All the APIs use REST as a protocol, as well as Flask from the Python end is very, very popular. Think Uber, a lot of big companies, Dropbox, a lot of companies use Flask. So if you do a search for Flask on my website at quantlabs.net, you will see some of the discussions that I've had and links that led me to where I'm at with Flask. And really I'm using Flask RESTful, which is an extension on Flask for delivering Flask using the REST protocol. So I've talked about that in these blog posts. And then that's a web server. And then in here, we've also got another server edition. And you customers will not see this, which is here. And what it does is it goes in and it reads endpoints of JSON files, basically, that are hosted on my web server. I've got a way to secure it, and they help determine what gets sent out or what gets posted on the endpoints. And then from there, they're in JSON format. And then we have the client, which will read those files, the endpoints on the server, and process the trades. So here you can see we have EOS and USDT being traded. We still got bugs in this. This is the client client end as well, where it will basically read off of those files or off of those endpoints on the server via Flask. And that's how everything gets delivered. And the next step was to decide, when you look at services like 3commas.com or signalsgroup.com, which are trading services, crypto trading services that are 100% hosted on a website, meaning all your exchange like Binance is hosted on their site. So in my view, that's not very secure. They say it is, it's encrypted, da 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 da. Plus, it puts them in a position of liability where if things do go wrong and they do get hacked, there could be some kind of lawsuit filed against them for not securing security keys and secret keys and API keys of exchanges of customers, live customers trading accounts. And that could be from a few hundred to, who knows, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars. I don't know. I just didn't want to be bothered with that liability. So that's why I've put together this software that people download, and then that can be configured at their end. Has nothing to do with my server, has nothing to do with my account or my service, and they are able to secure their own API and secret keys for the exchange, which will be used as Binance. So there should be zero liability on that. So that's why I architected it that way. So most of the work is done in the client software. The server will send in a lot of, I don't want to call them signals, but will post a lot of potential moving pairs and coins that get posted on the server via endpoints that the client software can then access. And then you're going to use an INI configuration file and have all these parameters set for all the 5 strategies so that you can configure on what you're wanting to trade or not trade. So I'll be, as I said, I'll be doing that on Monday. Here, there's a little video on that here called Mega Crypto Trading Bot Settings on my YouTube. So you can go over there at Quant Labs. Again, Mega Crypto Trading Bot Settings, and that's going to be on Monday night, June 1st. So that's why we have what we have architected this way for that, so that it's zero liability for me, because the account API, all that stuff is on the customer's computer or of their choice, wherever they want this program to reside. And it will run on Windows, Mac. I could, as I said before, I could do it Linux, but then I got a whole whackload of distributions to worry about for Linux, so I'm not going to go there yet. But for sure, Mac and Windows, this will run on. So that's how everything's architected. So most of this is, the work is done. The technology choices to implement are done. The only hard part now is to debug this at both ends, the server and the client. And to make sure that the settings parameters work with the INI file. Again, I'll be doing that webinar on Monday, and that's where that will take place. But overall, this is the general view we're going with, but we're getting there a lot closer. It took me quite a bit of time to get this put out, going through all the different technology options of both enabling if it's on web, like a server, or if it's going to be via queuing or an OSQL or a database option. It's still out in the open. For example, if you go up here, I just posted this article earlier today, I just found out, called Rocket.chat. It's a private chat server. So I could have done away with what I've already done and just used this Rocket Chat, because now there's a Python package available for Rocket Chat that just came out 2 weeks ago. So I just learned that today. So there's other new options I have, but for now I'm just going to leave it as is, because of all the amount of work that's been put into it. Also, if I get over the fact of hosting people's Binance API keys and secret keys on my own server, I could have everything hosted on a web server, no client downloading. So that could be an option, but I don't think I'll go with that. Uh, and let me think of what else there was to talk about. But there's still a lot of options available to me. But this is the way it's looking right now. But the options for the settings are quite a bit that have been introduced. If you go through, as I said, there's a bunch of videos here. If you go through them on my YouTube channel, that will go through some of the parameters, and this is pretty exhaustive. But as I said, I'll be going into detail here and doing it in a live trading audience. So I'll have a whole set of questions. I've brought in my meetup group. There's 3 meetup groups, so that's going to be about 4,000 or 5,000 people being promoted to. So I don't know how big the crowd will be on Monday, but there will be that. And yeah, just wanted to let people know. See here, we got another video on rest as well, flask rest. But that's pretty well it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.